What up, Mr. Miller, and whoever else is watching this on YouTube? This is my inquiry project. Just letting you guys know there is no like script or anything. This is straightly from my head. I just have this out so I could see my question of how can people change when there no to stop them. But anyways, here we go. So my project was to read two books at a certain, higher type of standpoint, but I think I read Lord of the Flies, and everyone kind of made fun of me for that. But anyways, because they're all, I read that when I was like 12. I was like, okay, well, I wasn't in that class, all right, my bad. And it got recommended to me. Anyway, so I read Lord of the Flies, and I read Catch-22. And my question for both these books is, how can people change when there are no rules to stop them? Now, they both have to deal with a certain type of war. Like Lord of the Flies, they're fighting, they were all friends at once, and then they all started fighting against each other. And with Catch-22, they're in World War II. So, I mean, they were never friends. They were just fighting with each other right from the beginning. So I was all, well, in both these books, they don't got rules to go by. So, like, how do they act when there are no rules to stop them? And there's movies that, like, the rules go away for, like, The Purge, like 24 hours, rules go away, or Maze Runner. There's no real rules in the Maze Runner. You're in the maze, like, you just got to get out. So I thought, like, how can people change when there are no rules to stop them? And after reading both books, I realized that at a certain point in both these books, the two people, there's one in Lord of the Flies and Kenneth too, like the main character in Catch-22 and the lieutenant. There's something in their mind that clicks, and it makes them want to be more selfish and be like, oh, this is like me. So I'm gonna start with Catch-22. Yossarian at first is like, he kind of wanted to be in the military. He wanted to do his missions and stuff. And then as the book goes on, he's done. He's all, I don't want to risk my life anymore. I've risked my life plenty of times, and it's like, this just isn't for me. Like, I'm done. I did all that. So then he goes to tell him, like, when can I be sent home? I finished all my missions. And the lieutenant tells him, well, no, you did 45, you gotta do 51. He's all, but you said it was at 45. And he's all, no, now it's at 51. And that's where the lieutenant kind of clicks. Like, he's all, well, if we send him home, he's one of our best guys. Like, that's just not going to work. Like, we need this guy. And that's that selfish part in the lieutenant, to not send home a guy who's done all of it. And he clearly doesn't want to be there anymore. Like, he's done risking his life. He's risked his life 45 times on those missions. And that's where he goes and like, yo, like, no, this is, if you're not here, then I gotta go forward. And that's the part where he comes selfish. And then Yossarian responds to that, well, like, okay, well, then I'll just leave. Like, there's no people stopping me from just going. And that's the selfish point that clicks in his head. Now, they are at war. That's already selfish enough. Like, you gotta fight for your life. Like, you gotta kind of put away the sides of, like, no, it's, you just fight for your life. Like, it's whoever is the best army wins. That's how war goes. And that's also people changing when there are no rules to stop them. But Yossarian changes as he's done risking his life. He's done with all that. He's absolutely just finished. He's done. So he's all, well, if you're not going to let me leave, I'm not going to do any more missions. I'll keep resting in the hospital if I have to, because he has a bad liver, which he actually does, but it doesn't affect him from doing a lot of stuff. So he's all, I'm just going to leave. I'm going to go. So he follows this girl, Luciana, to Rome, and he's out. He doesn't need to do anything anymore. So he just literally is all like, okay, well, I'm free. I don't need to do anything. So now he's in Rome, and there's like, there's some people trying to, like, they want to kill him. And that's where he really quits being selfish. He's all, well, I don't really care who else dies, like this and that, this and that. I just want to survive. I want to go back home. This is all about me. And that's fine. If it's for you and it's about you, then if you're the main character in your life, then I don't see why you would want the main character to die. If all your best friends or all the side people gotta die before the main character dies, I mean, maybe you want to sacrifice your life for one of your best friends, but like the main character is not supposed to die, and he's not trying to die. He's the main character, and that's basically what I got from that book, is that the main character is not supposed to die, and that when you realize that there are no rules, that there's something that clicks in the person's head to become more of the, like when there's rules, you become like, oh, I'm a citizen, like I'll do this for this person, I'll do this for this person, I'll be good so this person feels good. But when there's no rules and there's nothing, it's selfish. If someone's talking bad about you, then you just, or someone's like, like wants you to do this, so they don't have to do it. There's no rules, it's selfish, like you gotta survive. So then with Lord of the Flies, with the same thing of how can people change when there are no rules to stop them, Lord of the Flies was interesting. And I realized that at first they were all friends, and like the main character was Ralph, but the main person that I focused on was Jack. Because at first, it was just Ralph and Piggy. They were just walking along, and then Jack and his group kind of found them. And they all decided as a group who's going to be the leader of their tribe. I think it was tribe. And they all voted for Ralph. And Jack was all like, well, I mean, that's not how it's supposed to go. I wanted it to be me. And Ralph made Jack the leader of the hunters to get food. So then Jack's doing his job. He's killing pigs. He's doing all this, but he brings home a pig. He's all happy. He's all, we get food, we do this, we do that. And Ralph's all, you let the fire out. He's all, but we got food. Like, that's fine. He's all, but you let the fire out. Now people might not be able to see us. And at that point, Jack starts being a little more distance from Ralph. And I realized that that's when Jack clicked, and and later on in the book, he goes, I'm done. I don't want to be part of this tribe anymore. I'm moving to the other side of the island. Whoever wants to join me, they can join, because I'm done. And that's where I feel like he clicked. It wasn't the more selfishness, but he realized, like at that point in the book, that there really are no rules. He can move to any side he wants. He can do anything he wants. There's no rules to stop him from doing that. And that's where Ralph kind of was all like, well, he's gonna come back, like he has to come back, right? But he doesn't. He didn't have to. There's no rules. He can go, and he took most of the tribe with him. And then a little bit farther deep in the book, Ralph and Piggy decided to go to Jack's part, and because Jack decided to leave all them, he was the main guy. Like, he became the person that everyone wanted to go to because he was getting food. But the most important thing actually was, like, at the end of the book was the fire, because that's how they got saved. But Jack was all like, oh, if we don't have food, we can't live. That's all. If we don't have food, we can't live. We can dance. If we have food, we can dance. We can do all this, but we need food first. And Ralph's point of view was, we need the fire first, because then people could see us from the smoke. So then Ralph and Jack get into a little, scuffle, a little scuffle at Jack's place. And I think, Piggy got accidentally pushed off by Jack and fell to his death. But that's where this selfishness came into place. You could tell that Ralph was kind of like, oh man, like that's my best friend. Like that's like, I don't like that. Like, that's my best friend. I don't want him to die. But you could tell that it didn't affect him that much, where he gave up on everything, because right after he was all like, no, I'm still fighting. And he became selfish into, I need to survive again. And when everyone was chasing him through the woods, he was all, I need to survive. Like, it's not about me and Piggy anymore. It's about me. And Jack became selfish with just like, any one of my people can die, but if I stay alive, like, that's all that matters. And that's the main of it, is that when people realize that there are no rules, they become a lot more selfish about themselves, because that's all that there really is for them, is themselves, because in a person's life, they are the main character of their life. So I saw that in both books, that the main character was just trying to follow the rules, like the actual rules, but there was a person that was deciding to, like, I'm not gonna do the rules, like I don't want to do that. So the main character decided they had to, act out like, if you're not gonna follow the rules, I won't follow the rules. And that's where, and then, at the end of Lord of the Flies, Ralph got saved because of the fire. And that was basically all I learned, is that a person will become selfish, and it's all about survival for them. It's not like I'll do this for them. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, it's not, I'm not gonna do this for somebody if it's not gonna mean I don't survive. And that's the main gist of it. I mean, I don't really know what else I could say. I mean, that was the main, point that I got from reading both these books and answering that question. So it's my inquiry project. Peace.